What makes the greatest generation so great? Well, for starters, they literally saved the world. Then, they came home to raise their families and build their businesses and become the most productive citizens our country has ever seen. Today, though, less than 1% of the Americans who fought in the Second World War are still around. Personally, I'd like to meet as many as I can, just to say thanks, which is why I've come here today. Well, it's a beautiful day in Flat Rock, North Carolina, and by beautiful, I mean it's not raining and it's not boiling hot. I'm at the Sarros residence to meet a genuine American hero who is not Too Tall Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
How
are
are
you? I'm doing great.
Do they really call you Too Tall Tom?
Well, I do living history, so my Vietnam impression is Too Tall Tom.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's also a customer of USMR, and I'm just interested in the fact that your sales rep and you wind up having a conversation not just about precious metals,
Yeah.
but about something even more precious.
Yeah.
And way leads on the way, and now I'm in Flat Rock, North Carolina. Too Tall Tom is George's neighbor. It was Tom who told his account rep at U.S. Money Reserve about the aging hero who lived next door, and the truly incredible operation he participated in off the coast of Normandy, days before the Allied invasion. That's what brought me here. I wanted to hear about Exercise Tiger from someone who had been in the thick of it. I wanted to meet the mild-mannered man who sailed across the English Channel no less than 65 times at the height of the war and lived to tell the tale. Mr. Sarros.
Mr. Rowe, thank you
How
for
are you,
coming.
sir?
Thank you.
Kidding?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. How's your day going?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you know? I mean, it's early in the day. Are you optimistic that the whole day is going to be great? And is that your general state of mind?
No, I always think that it's going to be a great day. I'm grateful to be alive. I just want to get one more year to get to 100.
Come on.
Then I want to go back to France.
George is glad to be alive and grateful for every day on this earth. But he knows for certain that Enrica is waiting for him on the other side. She's been gone now for 17 years, but George is still in love and knows that he and his bride will spend eternity together. It's the kind of certainty that comes from deep loyalty and an unshakable faith. I talked to Tom, your friend, and he described a Carolina World War II museum not far from here.
Bivard.
Right.
Yeah.
So our hope is, if you're up for it, we can take a ride over there.
Oh, I would sure like to go.
I mean,
Yeah, they're very nice over there.
we're going to go to the museum, and George and I are going to have a chat over there, and it's going to be great.
Thank you, Brother Rowe.
Of course.
And I want to thank all these brothers that come here. I really appreciate that.
Every single person on this crew is a fan of what you've done, and every single person in this project is aware that without your generation, we got nothing. You did it.
I just think if it happens again, we'll get the kids to do it. They'll do it. This is a great country.
They say that people rise to the situation.
Right. And we didn't have any choice.
Yeah.
We either did or you'd go to prison if you didn't do it, you know. And I didn't think...
Well, there's that too.
There's that. Yeah.
There's that. Engine room, San Quentin.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the museum. So you've gone back to Normandy now twice?
Well, I've been to Normandy twice with Tom, and then I went to Normandy 2 or 3 times with my wife and the fellows I was in the ship with.
Why is it important to you to go back there?
It just brought memories when we were there, on the ship and all that.
Did you understand what you were fighting for when you were doing it? Was it clear in your mind?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And Germany was practically taking all of Europe. There was no hesitation in my mind that I knew what I had to do, and because I loved the country so much. Because we used to bring troops across. I remember we took a bunch of troops to France, where the Battle of the Bulge was going.
And here's something you don't hear every day. George is also a genuine French knight, and he's got the medal to prove it. That's the Legion of Honor, France's highest decoration, reserved only for those who have shown outstanding merits in the service of the nation. As a recipient of this honor, George is officially a chevalier, or in English, you guessed it, a knight. Well, we've just arrived. What do you say we go in the museum?
Yeah.
All right, George is getting squared away. I'll meet him in a second. Meantime, we have arrived at the Veterans History Museum of the Carolinas, and I'm pretty sure it's you, Tom, again. Nice to see you. And Curtis?
Honor,
sir.
Mike.
Curtis Poteet. You guys follow me. This is going to be fun. The Veterans History Museum of the Carolinas reflects an unapologetic love of country and a deep gratitude to those who serve it. The exhibits here are all very personal and curated by men and women who are determined to help all of us remember and celebrate the service and sacrifice of people like George. Yeah, it's worth a visit.
A lot of these guys made it through the war. A lot of them didn't.
George, we are inside the World War II Museum of the Carolinas, and something tells me you've been here before.
Yes, many times, and it's very hen-friendly.
What does this place mean to you?
Well, it brings me this history of our great country and this great sacrifice that made all these people in here, that made this country great.
It's so personal.
Yeah.
Like, I just got the tour, and Tom is showing me the uniform that his uncle died in.
Yeah.
Right? In Guadalcanal, I think it was.
He was in Guadalcanal.
Everything about it really comes back to an individual. When we were riding over here, we were sitting in the back of a van, and you told me about one of your very first missions. You're on an LST.
Mm-hmm.
You're working in the engine room.
Yeah.
And a couple torpedoes slam into another LST a few hundred feet away. Goes down. Another one on the other side goes down. Your captain is ordered to get out of there, but he stays to pick up the men in the water.
Yeah. He's the only one that stayed. And that you couldn't see. There was no moon. It was pitch black. And you just had to trust in what the bridge tells you, what you should do, when you should fire. And then at one point, they got the word from the bridge that says open fire, and that's what we did.
You were on a 40 millimeter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The talk was that they said that a torpedo went by our ship.
But as this is happening, you can hear the men in the water from other torpedoed boats.
No question about it. I remember the fire on the water. The water was 40 trees of girls. Guys were screaming. I remember a couple of them came right by our ship and they were yelling, hang on, hang on. I says, hang on, we're gonna pick you up at the small boat. But then you look out there when it's dim daylight, you saw nothing but bodies. Army guys just lay in the water, just gone.
Hundreds.
Yeah. I understand we lost over 400 that were laying in the water.
How'd you get them out? I mean, was it a Higgins boat that went off the LST? Kind of scooped them up?
Yeah. That's because they opened the bow door and you lowered the ramp, and the Higgins boat came around, and we had 3 or 4 guys in the boat, and they'd come along. The guys were screaming, get a hold of them, pick them up, and put them on the deck there. They were completely cold. We had to get blankets down there. We had to get hot chocolate and coffee to get them as warm as we possibly could. So we saved about 90 we picked out of the water. And we lost, I think they claim we lost about over 400.
You're 20 years old at the time? 19, 20?
I was 19, yeah. You know, the picture still lays in my head, but I remember the one torpedo got hit. They didn't have a chance. Even in the engine room, they didn't have a chance. The boat sank. The explosion threw all the Army guys that were up top deck, threw them all over their side. They were screaming. And then there was Tom. Him and his partner were together in the water freezing. and they were just about ready to get exhausted. They couldn't handle it anymore. So the next thing he says, you know, he says, I saw the most wonderful boat in the world. It was LSD 515.
Your boat.
Our boat. It just brings tears to your eyes.
You're being shot at. Torpedoes are in the water. You can hear people screaming, your fellow soldiers.
Yeah.
They're in the water. You're focused on getting them out of the water. Your captain is sending you back to do that thing in direct defiance of an order.
Yeah, it was. No question.
So his name was Doyle.
Doyle, Captain Doyle.
Right.
He was Royal Navy.
And what was the date?
It was the 28th of April.
28th of April. So literally just a week, 9-10 days later is D-Day.
Yeah, June 6th.
Where were you on the 6th of June?
We were off the beach of France. There was two battle wagons. They were pounding the beach. There was a troop transport over the side. They had the ropes down, and the guys were climbing down, infantry were climbing down, and then they had the Higgins boat going around, and then they would get loaded with them, then they go, and then another one come in, and they'd load up. And then when they got the word at 1 o'clock, then we went in. Yeah, then we landed on the beach, and everything seemed secured. And next thing you know, we were all on the top deck looking out. We were unloading. Next thing I saw a German fighter plane start to come down to strafe us. You know, and I thought, oh my God, we're going to get strafed. But before you know, one of our P-47s came right on it and got him. And we were happy. Then you looked up, and there were bombers flying, bombers all over the place in the air. And then we looked over to one side, and one of the bombers got hit. The wing was gone. And we were all yelling out, bail out, bail out. And then we could watch the guys bailing out. Now, where they landed, I don't know.
George, people have seen the movies, they've read the books. These scenes, we all feel like we kind of understand them because we've seen them recreated. But to actually be there, to actually be a 19-year-old kid, standing on the deck, watching a plane come in, determined to kill you, and then seeing one of our guys come behind it and shoot it out of the sky.
Yeah.
Just riff on that for a second.
All I remember is, boy, was I so glad to see that P-47 at his tail. Yeah. Then otherwise, we'd have got wiped out. Yeah.
And look, I just think that, I mean, it's such a privilege to talk to you, but I had not heard the story of Captain Doyle. And I hope people remember, once upon a time, there was a captain of an LST who was ordered to sail to safety. But he turned his ship around, and with you and 150 other crewmen.
Yeah. He should have got a medal, but he didn't get. Didn't get
it. At least his story is out now, thanks to you. At least we're able to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know. Well, George, I just assumed, like, Tom's right. Tom, come on in. In fact, bring everybody in here for a sec.
Yeah.
Because I want to understand what is this the book you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Exercise Tiger.
Yeah.
This is the book you want to get. It's out there, right?
It is.
Terrific. And what's this?
So when George and I went to the 75th anniversary, I made this book up.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helped George tell his story.
Look at this young man. There he is. Right? That's awesome.
That's the ship.
That's the ship that survived.
Survived.
These are the stories that we're talking about. I just can't believe I don't know this story. So to sum up, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go find this book. It's called Exercise Tiger. It's it's the story you just told me, but memorialized forever. This is a scrapbook. You can't have this, sorry, because Tom put that together. Let me just real quick try and do the right thing here as well. This is just a modest token of our appreciation, George Sarros. It's a little gift we have for you. Inside here are solid silver coins. It's called the World War II Valor and Victory series from our buddies at USMR. Each of these coins depicts a famous battle. So we have Midway, we have Iwo Jima, We have, of course, Pearl Harbor, and somewhere in here, I believe we have Normandy.
Oh, good.
And I just want to present this to you with our compliments and our appreciation. Sincerely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you. That's so nice of you people.
It is
I feel very
the least we
humble.
can do.
Oh, this is plenty.
It's going to look pretty good. Look, there's a lot of stuff in your house, I noticed, but somewhere between all those pictures and all of those collectibles, I think it'll look pretty great. In fact, I think is this Normandy? Yeah, this is Normandy. Here, feel that, just so you know what we're talking about.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah, it's a chunk. It's 5 ounces.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So the front is these guys coming out of the Higgins boat,
Yeah.
and it's, legal tender,
that
of
is
course. So
special.
anyway,
Thank you so much.
look, it's a privilege to be here and give it to you.
I feel very humble.
You know what? We could probably figure out, for a modest fee, a little museum involvement. You guys could probably have this, for a day or two. You can discuss terms with George. Anyway, that's life here at the World War II Carolina Museum, or the Museum of the Carolinas, as I recall.
Veterans History Museum.
Right.
Of
Veterans
the
History.
Carolinas.
It's free.
Right.
Everybody's officially invited. You come in, leave a generous donation just because it's the right thing to do. And if Tom or Curtis are here, pull them aside. They'll talk to you. You've been warned. And if you cross paths with this guy, give him my regards and tell him thanks again. You're awesome,
Thank you very
George.
much.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, the greatest generation is getting smaller and smaller every year. Telling their stories, though, is important, and it's a privilege. In fact, if you know a veteran, I'd love to hear all about it. Why don't you share their story with me on my Facebook page? And if you like the look of those silver coins, you can learn more about them at usmr.com/victory.